This come on. Right now, this is the biggest fight in boxing. Come on. Third fight for us, Canelo, everybody knows Canelo, just it's the biggest gift for people who really like boxing. Everybody's different situation, different way, different everything, come on. Last fight in Canelo, he looked different, not like a 168, 75, no, because different.
When Gennady Golovkin talks boxing, the world stops. And now, he's warning Crawford. Canelo is not just strong, he's a moving truck at 168. Let's set the stage. When Gennady Golovkin talks boxing, the room goes quiet. His punches echo like church bells, and when he speaks, fans lean in like it's gospel.
Look like he's improving and getting better.
Marcos, I told you just, every opponent gives you different, every fight is different.
So you think
I don't feel like, more power, more speed. No, he stay the same.
Gennady Golovkin about Canelo versus Crawford, and he flashes that icy grin. Before dropping it cold, Canelo is strong, very strong. I know. I've felt his punches. He breaks arms. He breaks wills. Crawford is smart, very sharp but small. He's never fought someone like Canelo before.
Dominant, big puncher, and Crawford doesn't have that. Crawford has great skills, but doesn't have that punch to keep Canelo off of him. Golovkin had that punch and that strength to keep Canelo off of him, to keep him from...
Golovkin keeps it respectful, calling Crawford dangerous. A man who can make fighters look lost with his brain. But then he drops the hammer. You cannot outthink a truck. When the truck is moving 100 miles per hour. In Golovkin's world, size and power matter, and Canelo is still driving the 18-wheeler at 168.
I don't know. If Crawford wins, obviously, I said up to this point, Canelo is the number one for me. But if Crawford, of course, Crawford has to be number one, fundamentally, boxing-wise. Now, can he draw like Canelo?
Gennady Golovkin leaves the door slightly open. If Crawford survives the first 6 rounds, maybe he surprises. Maybe Canelo slows down. Maybe Crawford downloads and adjusts. That's vintage Golovkin, straight, blunt, no fluff. In short, he predicts Canelo by punishment, but respects Bud enough to admit there's a slim chance of an upset.
Well, Madrimov just, I think, showed us that Crawford doesn't have that one-punch knockout, first of all. He's going to have to put punches together, and he can put punches together 147, 140, and they're going to be quick punches. With Canelo, they're going to be a little bit slower.
And Golovkin's words hit different. Because he isn't some armchair analyst, he lived through the Canelo storm twice. In the first fight, Golovkin walked Canelo down like a man chasing rent money, jabbing his head off. And most of the world thought Golovkin got robbed. The second fight, different story. Canelo flipped the script, stood his ground, and traded fire in the middle of the ring.
The back foot, relying on counterattacks, but Triple G kept pressing forward, landing jabs that pierced through even Canelo's tight defense. Despite the thunderous punches exchanged,
Gennady Golovkin realized Canelo wasn't just a flashy Mexican star, he was a stonewall with head movement. Golovkin even admitted later, he didn't run. He fought me Mexican style. Respect. That's the thing. Canelo earned his stripes and blood against Golovkin. Every punch carried history. And that's why Golovkin warns Crawford with that smirk.
Putting the weight on that he's put on may not be the fastest, may not be the strongest. That he had difficulties with the 154-pound champion that he beat. So at 168, he's fighting a guy that's been tested against the big.
Because Golovkin knows better than anyone, Canelo isn't only about power. He's about adjustments, patience, and that quiet confidence, like he's got all night to break you down. Crawford may have the brains, but Golovkin's story reminds us, you must survive the storm before you can even think of solving.
Double fighters, but I'd have to favour Canelo. Just his size and his experience and just his ring generalship, he's got confidence.
Then we shift to Kell Brook. He starts laid back, talking about being a new dad and enjoying life. But once Canelo versus Crawford is mentioned, the switch flips. He admits straight up, at first glance, you have to lean toward Canelo. Why? Because jumping up in weight isn't just, oh, I ate an extra sandwich today. From experience, Brook knows it's a whole new reality check.
A mediocre world champion's okay, but when you find someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, doesn't kettle the fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very...
Fighting average champs at middleweight is one thing, but going against monsters like Canelo or Golovkin is a different level, and Brook still feels it. Yet he doesn't write Crawford off. He calls Bud very, very, very good and sharp as hell. The real question Brook asks is, does Crawford still have the legs? See, Mayweather beat Canelo with movement, but Brook points out, but isn't really that kind of mover.
Not really like Mayweather in that aspect. It's like he's more, you know, he kind of sets his feet. He's just he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he.
Crawford plants his feet more, picks his spots, and counters with IQ instead of running laps. Brook hints that while Canelo has seen movers before, Crawford's style is different and that might create openings. And Brook speaks with authority. Remember, he fought Crawford early on. He looked sharp, snapping the jab, even catching Bud clean a few times. For a moment, people thought, yo, Brook might actually be onto something.
Where Terence Crawford has his lead arm slightly above it and then deflects it downwards and throws the jab at the same time, which Kell Brook
But then Crawford did what Crawford always does. He downloaded Brook's rhythm mid-fight like dial-up internet, switched southpaw, and within a couple rounds, Brook's legs gave way to a Crawford right hand that folded him. It was surgical, quick, and almost eerie how Bud flipped the switch. That fight proved Brook's point. Crawford isn't a runner like Mayweather. He's a hunter who stalks, sets, and detonates. And Brook knows how dangerous it is once Bud plants his feet and starts seeing the openings.
Boxers try to establish that lead arm. Kell Brook tries to throw the jab and then walks into a punch. Crawford was able to parry, deflect, and throw the jab at the same time with the same arm, hurting Kell.
We move to Bob Arum, and Uncle Bob doesn't whisper. He grabs the mic like it's karaoke night, but instead of singing, he roasts Canelo. He says this isn't the same Canelo who once fought for legacy. This Canelo looks more like an accountant than a gladiator, protecting investments instead of swinging for.
Gotta pay money to watch that fight. I wouldn't do it because Canelo has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the.
Seen it. 1 minute you're hyped for a mega fight. The next you're watching Canelo treat 12 rounds like office overtime. Arum drops the old school gem to reminding us how Sugar Ray and Oscar chased pay-per-view numbers by giving fans fireworks. That's the difference. Fans want blood, sweat, and drama, not PowerPoint presentations with jabs. And Arum warns if Canelo keeps fighting safe, Crawford might be walking into a bank, not a war.
Terence Crawford is a real old-school professional fighter who wants to do his best every fight.
But Arum also gives the cold reality. Crawford can't just waltz into 168 and expect to be the same slick mover. Extra muscle may give strength, but reflexes can lose half a beat, and against Canelo, half a beat is fatal. You're either slipping that hook or staring up at the ceiling, wondering why it's moving. Crawford built his legacy on timing, rhythm, and making world-class fighters look lost. But at 168, with new weight on his frame, it's a whole different dance.
Terence Crawford went from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was like a 4-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions.
Canelo, this is his natural habitat. He lives at super middleweight like it's his living room. Every inch of the division he's mastered power, stamina, patience, all sensed perfectly. He's not experimenting. He's not adjusting. He's just Canelo being Canelo, the lion hunting in his jungle. If Bud enters a fraction slower, carrying weight his body doesn't love, Arum's warning might come true. Canelo will punish every ounce of that added muscle. And that's the bottom line. Whether Canelo shows up as the hungry lion or the check-cashing businessman, one thing is certain: we're breaking it all down right here. You already know the vibes. Like the video, drop a comment, and subscribe so we keep cooking this boxing talk for the crew.